Hey there, my name is Shreya and you're watching the Stitch by Shreya knitting podcast. This is episode number 9. I'm going to go ahead and get into a couple of finished objects from the past 3 weeks. A lot of progress on some long-term WIPs of mine. And yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it. And we'll start by talking about what I'm wearing today. So today I'm wearing my Satsuki pullover. This is a pattern that I finished a couple of weeks ago, I guess it was like 2 podcast episodes ago I finished this. And this is a pattern by Sari Nordlund. I knit this out of John Arbon Yarnadelic Sport in the shade The Beautiful Ones. So this pattern, it fits beautifully, but the yarn pills like no other. I've worn this lightly for the past couple of weeks just to kind of get a sense of the wear and tear. And I don't know if it'll pick up on camera, but there's a ton of pilling on my underarm area, like over here especially. There's a lot of pilling. I've depilled it once already. And then in the arms, there's also just a lot of like general wear and tear. From my friends who have also made garments with this yarn, they said the same thing, that they've had to depill it quite a lot. So after I finish filming today, I'll probably hit this with the depiller at some point. And I just use a gleaner that I got from Amazon whenever I'm depilling my projects, my finished objects. But yeah, I'm like a little disappointed at how pilly this is, but that's only because I've only worn it like 4 or 5 times, and I wore it all day yesterday, and I'm just like trying to wear it a lot so that I can just depill it a couple times, and then hopefully with time it'll stop pilling as much. But I have this next to skin right now and it's not itchy at all for me. So Yarnadelic Sport, I believe, is a Corriedale fiber. Maybe this particular Corriedale is like a little bit more higher in the micron count, if I can get that correctly. But maybe because of that reason, that's why it pills so much. So it's fine. I do really like it. I enjoy it. I'm just like looking at all the pills still and it bothers me. But you can just pick them off easily, so it's not like the end of the world. It's more just like an annoyance that it has so much pilling already. So just FYI, if you are planning to use this yarn, it pills a lot and you should be expecting to depill it quite often, especially if you wear your garments like I do, which apparently is hard. I wear my garments very hard. I don't know. I don't feel like I do anything crazy. I just wear them all day and somehow they're still pilly monsters. But fit-wise, this garment is great. I did extend the sleeves so that they fit my arms, and I did extend the body. And at this point, it hits my, so this is like my belly button. It's like a little bit higher. I think like postpartum, it'll be a perfect fit, but right now everything tends to look like a little bit like a crop top on me. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing today. Yarn wise, or like color wise, I really love it. It's like a nice taupe brown color that has really lovely shades of, I guess that might have shown you the pills a lot more. It has really lovely pink and blue and purple that kind of is woven throughout, but it's hard to tell on camera. That is my Satsuki pullover, and this pattern is originally in the Aimee Sue, I think it's winter 2021 or 2022. Yeah, it's fall winter 2021. And that's all based on film, and this is based off of My Neighbor Totoro. You can kind of see that because of like the V's here. Yeah. And you notice that like the cabling, it ends pretty early on in the pattern. And I think if I were to do it again, I would probably start the cable pattern a little bit lower, just because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it'd be nice a little bit lower on my chest, but it's no issue to me. Let's go ahead and move on to finished objects. I have 2 today, both by the same designer. So I knit 1 test knit for Noelle Knits, or Sarah Antipenkov. I hope I said that correctly. So she's Noelle Knits on Instagram, and this is the Hannah hat. So this is a half fisherman's rib hat that I tested for her. I tested the baby size, so this is the smallest size that she has, and I just decided I was going to do another baby knit. And it's a really, really lovely, well thought out design. Half fisherman's rib means that it's just going to be an extremely squishy, lovely hat. And I feel like I've just been knitting a bunch of things in different variations of ribbing lately. The yarn for this one is the Plucky Knitter Primo Worsted in the shade I Carried a Watermelon. The Primo Worsted is kind of, I want to say it's mostly merino with like 10% nylon and like 5% cashmere. But this is really, 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 really plump, and that just made for really lovely stitch definition. I think that, sorry, it seems there's like a little glare from the window today, but I really like that it's a tonal and there's not really much like pooling or anything because of that. So I would work with this again for sure, and I think it'll be really soft on baby's head. So that's this. The pattern is out now, and she does have a knit along going on called the Hannah Hat Cal, and it ends on November 19th. I think you have to follow her along with 3 other dyers, I think, that are all based in the Vancouver area. But all you need to do is just make this pattern, and you can be eligible to win a skein of hand-dyed yarn. I think it's like 1 skein of worsted or 1 skein of DK plus 1 skein of Sari from the dyer of your choice. So one of the dyers is Sunday Fiber Co., which I believe to be one of my favorite dyers, period. So I think I'll probably knit up another Hannah hat for myself, because she does have sizes from baby all the way up to adult. So I'll probably make another one for myself in the same colors, because I do have enough of the worsted, and I have another skein of like, I think, fingering weight, and I'll just hold the fingering weight double to meet gauge. So that is the Hannah hat. I can see myself making loads of these. There is quite a bit of purling, because when you do half fisherman's rib in the round, every other row is a purl row. So if you're a hater of purling, this is probably not for you, because over 50% of this hat would be purled, but I personally don't mind it. And lately I've just been like enjoying texture, and it really is a plump fabric. So it's quite enjoyable to feel the finished object. And I think like if you like the wrong side of half fisherman's rib, then this is a reversible pattern as well. I prefer the right side, but the wrong side looks like this. I'll unfold the brim so you can see. So the wrong side looks like that versus the right side looks like this. So you can kind of see a little bit more of like a, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's like that double V kind of texture versus the right side is a single V. So you can definitely wear it reversible if you would prefer, but I tend to like it right side out. So that's this. The second finished object that I have for you today is another pattern by Noelle Knits, or Sarah, and this is the Cameron Pullover. I believe I started this in the last episode, and I finished it about a week ago. It took me almost 2 weeks to get done. So this one you'll see is extremely, extremely scrappy. I ran out of like all the yarn that I use basically for this. So if I were to go through all the colors, basically this white color is like a leftover 50-gram ball of yarn that I held double from my, oh gosh, what is it? Shocking Stripes by Tori Yu. When I made that pattern, I used this held single for the main color, and I had about a 50-gram ball left, so I held it double for the top part. Then I have these like blue purple stripes. This I used to make originally an Oslo hat for my brother, and I think the colorway is called Cowboy, so that's Malabrigo Rios. Then I have this like taupey color for my neckband. That is a Sorella yarn held double. It's a mini skein. I don't remember the colorway. I think it's like a 4-ply mini, so it must have been from the, I want to say winter tonals, but it's like off-white. Maybe it's Breckenridge. I think it might be that colorway. And then I held that for the stripe in between here. And then this autumnal colorway set. So this is Malabrigo Arroyo, which Arroyo is the sport weight yarn base, superwash merino, and this is the shade Diana. So I held Diana double for this section. I'm actually like so in love with how this looks, just because I find it to be really, really lovely and autumnal and fun. The fun thing about Malabrigo with their variegated colorways is that like every dye lot is so completely different that they just don't have dye lots at all. I had used this for my Very V-neck raglan by Jessie Made Designs. Then I went back to the stripes for this part down here, and then the bottom section is, oh, what is it? It is Craft Me Not Yarn Co. I think I'd used this for a Manhattan hat in a toddler size for a gift knit, and I decided to throw it into this. This is actually DK weight, but because it's so plump, I just held it single. So the yarn weights are like all over the place. Like the top is sport held double. Then for like some of the Malabrigo, it's held single. The Arroyo is held double. This is held single because I just found it to be very plump and it didn't require me to hold it double. And it's a DK. And then when it came to the sleeves, I ran out of this white color. So I think the pattern says use that color 1 again, but I ran out. So I used the bottom edge of this here. And then I started like not micro striping, but I decided to stripe a little bit more aggressively here. So I have 4 stripes, 2 of the Malabrigo Rios, 2 of the Arroyo, and it's like broken up with this Silver Spring, or is it Silver Garden? It might be called Silver Garden. And then I decided to throw in at the very edge more of that not Craft Me Not. Oh my God. I cannot talk today. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit out of touch because it's been a while since I filmed. So I decided to do 4 stripes, Silver Garden, Rios, Silver Garden, Rios, Silver Garden, Arroyo, Silver Garden, Rios again. And then the last little chunk is what I used for the Hannah hat. So it's Plucky Knitter. And that is how I got this extremely scrappy but fun sweater. So I think it'll be fun, and I can still throw this into the laundry because it's all different superwash skeins. I'll probably get a little bit of color bleeding here and there. The Rios actually does not bleed, but the Plucky Knitter yarn had a little bit of runoff, so I threw some color catchers when I blocked it. So this is really fun. It's really squishy again because it's broken rib all throughout. And a fun detail is that I ran out of the Arroyo on this sleeve. So this sleeve I have 2 stripes. This sleeve I only have 1 stripe of Arroyo, but I don't have any of the yarn left, which is the ultimate goal, is like I just scrap busted, and that feels great that I don't have any of it left. So I can't say enough good things about this pattern. It's written really well, It is really easy. It works up really quickly because it's like a worsted gauge. So I would definitely make it again, and it goes up from like baby size all the way up to I think like 10-year-old size. So you could make it for any little in your family and it'd be great. The only thing is that there is not any like sleeve cap or sleeve shaping for this one. So I think like, I don't know how the fit is going to be on a baby, but I think like for the older kid sizes, it might be nice for there to be a little bit of a sleeve cap, because otherwise I feel like the sleeve might ride up a little bit. On the baby sizes, I don't think it'll be as much of an issue. So yeah, just two little tiny finished objects. They really like flew off my needles. I think the Hannah hat took me 2 days. This took me like a little bit longer than a week. And my main goal for these past couple of weeks has been to just get consistent progress done on some of my larger long-term whips. And I think you'll see that I did get quite a lot done on those, but it's nice to have these little smaller projects to get a little bit of progress and like finishing energy. I feel like lately, since I don't have any more test knits, those were like the last couple of test projects that I had. My energy has been focused on just like finishing and getting a little bit of progress in on like those long-term whips wherever I can. I've always been someone who's had like a ton of projects on my needles at any given time, but I've always tended to shift my attention to whatever has a due date. And now that I have nothing with a due date, it's kind of nice to just say like, okay, I'm gonna get a little bit done here, a little bit done here, a little bit done here. And that's been really nice because I do feel like it's allowed me to focus on long-term projects. I'm gonna take a quick break, drink some water. The past couple of weeks have been kind of tough because I had a cold. I caught a cold like 2 weeks ago from some of my students, and I was really like groggy, snotty, had like all that comes with having a cold. So I wasn't really in the mood to film last week. I don't think I would have had anything different to show you. Like I still had those 2 projects done, but now my whip list is definitely quite a bit longer. We're gonna go ahead and get into the works in progress now. The first one is going to be the one that has been my focus for the past couple of months, and that is my Stria cardigan. It's gonna take me a second to get it in a place where I can show you, but basically I've been working on this since last January. I started January 1st, 2022, with lots and lots and lots of breaks in between. This has been a project that's been on my needles forever, and I'm finally oh my God, sorry. I have like burps nonstop when I talk for a long time. Okay. I'm finally seeing the end of this project. I can see the finish line. It's coming up close. I could finish it this week if I like really put my head down and work on it, but let me just go ahead and show it to you. So we have a finished body. The body has been bound off. I did a tubular bind off. I did extend the pattern length based on what was recommended versus like what is comfortable for me. So I have maybe like, I think 13 inches of body, and the pattern says you can do like 8.5 plus ribbing of like 1.5 inches, which would get you to 10 inches. So I added a little bit, I think I added 4 inches to the body plus 2 inches of ribbing. So that's where I was like, this is comfortable for me. And then if you can see, I have started the button band as well. It's kind of hard to show because I have many needles going on. So basically it looks really wrinkly right now, and it doesn't look great because I need to block the body, which I didn't do before I picked up for the button band. Probably should have done that. I should have blocked the body, picked up the button band, and then knit the double knit button band. So the pattern recommends that you do a 1x1 rib button band, but I don't know, I decided I'm just going to make it a little bit more challenging for myself, and I'm going to do a double knit button band. And I looked through Ravelry for a really long time to see what other people did, and most people stuck to pattern, but I was like, I don't know, I figured if I've put this much time into this project, I might as well finish it with something that I think looks really, really nice. And the 1x1 rib looks nice, don't get me wrong, but there's something about a double knit button band that looks so much better. So basically what I did math-wise is a couple of things. So when I finished the Hannah hat, I got one of Sarah's patterns for free. So I decided to get the Hannah cardigan, which she had designed, and that is a half fisherman's rib kids cardigan. So she has a double knit button band instruction in that pattern. And I was like, okay, this is great. I can kind of use this a little bit along with the petite knit champagne cardigan double knit button band instructions. So since that Hannah cardigan is also half fisherman's rib, I kind of use that as my instruction guide for how to pick up for half fisherman's rib. So what I did was I had knit this cardigan body on 3.25 millimeters needle, 3.25 millimeter needles. So that means I needed to size a full millimeter down for the button band. So that means my button band is being knit on 2.25 millimeter needles. That is the millimeter size that I use for sock knitting. So I knew that this is going to take me quite a while to picking up all the stitches for the button band. I think took me like a day and a half. And then now I've been knitting on this button band for like 3 or 4 days. It's probably going to take me another week to get it done just because my fingers are having a little bit of trouble these days with holding the tiny needles. I think like this is what I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the life section, but I have developed like a little bit of pregnancy carpal tunnel, and I think it'll go away like postpartum, but I do find like my fingertips tend to get like a little bit numb when I work with the tinier needles for a long period of time. So what I can really muster up at this point is like maybe doing about 10 rows of the double knit button band, and then I have to put it down. So I am pretty proud of like the progress I've made so far. I finished all the buttonholes, and so the buttonhole instruction I used from the petite knit champagne cardigan buttonhole, and I did 7 buttonholes instead of 6. So the pattern called for 6. I only had 6 buttons, and I bought them from La Mercerie, I think like earlier this year. And so luckily they still had buttons in stock. So I bought like 1 more button, and then I bought a couple of other things that they had in stock just as like stash enhancements, as I'm going to call it, as well as like a pattern book. I think they had the Sari Nordlund book in stock, so I bought that as well because I really like her patterns. So this is going to take me a while. Like I said, I have the rest of the V-neck to go. So I have, oh God, where did that go? I have the rest of the V-neck to go, the back of the neck, and then the other side of the cardigan. I anticipate that this is going to be done by the next time I film, and at which point I do want to do a full, like a video just dedicated to this cardigan, because it has been a labor of love. It has been a labor of hate as well. Like I have hate knitted on this for a long time, and I've also, now at this point, I have really enjoyed getting close to the finish line. So yeah, I do want to take time and highlight this project and how much it's meant to me and like how long it's taken and like the good, the bad, the ugly, everything about it. So I'd like to talk about that. And if you would like to see that video, please let me know. But I'll talk about my modifications a little bit more in depth in that video, assuming I can get this done in the next week or so. So yeah, it's gonna be beautiful when it's done. I'm gonna need to block the button band a little bit neatly because it looks a little sloppy right now, but I think it'll be fine. I just need to block it, and blocking will fix everything is my mantra right now. So that's a Stria cardigan. So the end is near. We will get there this year. That's my goal, is just to finish it this year. That's been my goal the entire year, is just to finish her in 2023 and not to bring her into 2024. And I think I can do that. I'm feeling optimistic. So yeah, I will say it's just very annoying for me that I did not plan and get 7 buttons when I knew I was planning to extend the body. Like, previous me should have known to get 7 buttons and not 6, because like I know this for myself. I always extend patterns, like I make them longer. So I would obviously want more buttons because I would naturally make more buttonholes. So that was poor planning on my part, but anyways, it's fine. I ordered another button and it should be here in the next couple of days. And yeah, that's it for the Stria. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to my Slightly Sassy V. So this pattern I like literally had just cast on last episode, and now I am a little bit farther in the yoke. So the Slightly Sassy V is a pattern by Aimee Sher. Aimee Sher Makes on Instagram. I've knit many of their patterns before. You'll see them on my Instagram, or you can see them in previous episodes. I have not knit this one. I was in the test group, but I had to drop out due to being kind of like very sick at the time with my pregnancy as well as COVID. So I didn't actually get to knit this pattern. But now I have done about half of the yoke. I have, I think, 26 rows to go. Plus, if I need to extend the yoke a little bit more, I'll have to do that as well. So this is using Moondrake yarn, Fua Fua, in the shade Electric Barbie. And the stitch markers I have on right now are all from Hello Lavender, from various different collections. And I really enjoy working with this. I do have a little bit of a review on working with Fua Fua. So I have a little bit of a review of working with the Fua Fua. If you've worked with mohair held single, Sari held single, or boucle held single, this is kind of a comparable experience. So knitting wise, this is like a very annoying fabric to frog. I had to frog my cast on once, and I was so careful with it because if you kind of tug a little bit too hard, it might break. And that is also my experience with boucle, like it'll break really easily. And I think with mohair and Sari, it's similar in that it has like a stickiness to it. So I'm really taking my time with this project, and I'm not rushing at all because, one, I don't want to frog it because I don't want to have to like weave in ends in case the yarn does break. Two, I only have like 4 skeins, which is about 12 or 1300 yards. And I really cannot afford to buy another skein of yarn of this. One, I don't think she even has it online because it was a Flock exclusive colorway. And two, I just do not want to have to frog it. So I'm taking my time, I'm reading through the instructions, I'm going slow. So I have like 26 rows of the yoke left, and then we'll go from there. This one is a little bit annoying to knit with, but is not as annoying as boucle. Like, I love how boucle feels. I love how Fua Fua feels, but it has like a little bit of like an annoying factor to it. So I going slow is like perfect for this type of project. I do have a goal of trying to finish the yoke relatively soon. I'm planning to bring it with me to the hospital when I'm in labor. The reality is there's like a high likelihood that I will probably not be able to knit at all while I'm in labor because contractions will be painful and I'll be going through it. But I want the option to be there. And this is the project I'd like to take with me if I'm in the round. If I'm not in the round, I will not be taking this project. I will take something that is simple, easy breezy, stockinette. I'm not going to bring anything that is mentally challenging at all. I'm not going to bring anything heavy. So that's why I kind of wanted to work on this one, because it's something held single. I can take my time with it. It can just be stockinette in the round. But we'll see if that happens. I need to actually work on the project. I need to get a couple rows in a day. So that's the only way that that'll happen. So my next goal for the next video is to just have the yoke done for that one. There's no timeline on finishing in this one. I'm knitting this with Ariel from the Airy Knits podcast and my friend Sharon from the Rui Knits podcast. And we all don't really have like an end date in mind. So I think there's no pressure for us to finish it anytime soon. But I do plan on bringing it with me to Flock next year. I'm planning to go to Flock with my friends from the Bay Area, and I'm hopefully going to meet up with Ariel when we're at Flock as well, and it'd be nice to have our matching knits for that as well. So that is my Slightly Sassy V. I'm going to go ahead and move on to my next couple of projects, which were, I don't think I had cast any of these on in the previous episode. A status update on my prism blanket and my tessellated vest. I have not worked on those at all in the past couple of weeks. I think I'm just going to put them on like hibernation until I finish my Stria cardigan. My Stria is like pretty much the only thing I'm really focusing on right now. So I want that done. And then once that's done, I have like the mental space to pick up some of those older projects. So whenever I have an update, I'll show them back on the podcast again, but I don't want to like keep talking about them if I'm not really working on them actively. The next thing that I am working on, however, is sweater number 9. Oops, that's not what it is. The next project that I'm working on is sweater number 11 light. This is a pattern by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And I don't know if this is like the most size inclusive pattern, but I am knitting the size extra large. And the yarn that I'm using is Sorella yarn. Okay, let's focus. Focus, focus, focus. There we go. This is Sorella yarn, and in the shade Hardin, held with Knitting for Olive Dusty Artichoke. So that is this. This is Hardin, and this is Dusty Artichokes, and I think they're like almost a perfect match for each other. This is from her Spring Tonals, and it's nylon sock, and obviously Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair needs no introduction on this channel or in general. The way that this pattern is constructed is you kind of go through the back panel and you do the increases. So that's the phase that I'm in. You create this like trapezoid shape, then you knit the back panel straight for a little bit, and then I guess you would pick up on both sides and continue one right panel, left panel, bring it to the front, finish the front, connect in the round, go. I believe that this is not like the most unique construction. I think there's many sweaters that are like this. I believe the Moby sweater is like this. The Cameron pullover, which I just finished, is also like this. I haven't knit this type of construction for myself yet, so I'm interested to see how the fit is on me. I think so far, fit-wise, my favorite fit has been a raglan, just because I feel like it's generally universally flattering on my body type, But I have done a couple of drop shoulders lately, and I've done some like set in sleeves, and I think those are also generally well fitting on myself. Fit wise, I generally don't think I have much of an issue in the shoulders and the bust. It's generally always been, I have to lengthen patterns to make it work for me. And so I'm knitting the extra large, which I think is like, will give me like 6 or 8 inches of ease. I really wanted like a nice loose slouchy sweater. And I think this has like a thick turtleneck as well on it. I have 400 grams of fingering weight, and I think I have like 350 or the equivalent amount of mohair. So I've just been like slowly chugging away on this one. I do a couple rows every day. I'm not, again, in a rush to finish this one. I'm knitting this along with some friends that I have made from Discord over the years. They're my like first knitting friends. And we have tried to do like one knit along every year. The first one was like, we all wanted to do the balloon sweater, which is what I originally got this yarn for. And some of them actually started the balloon sweater, and then I think everyone ended up just frocking that. I never even cast it on, but then they were like, let's do sweater number 11 light. And I was like, okay, great. And I actually was like, let me cast on this one actually with everyone so that I can try to finish it on time. I'm always the last one to get things done because I have like 3,000 things going on at the same time, but this is one I actually really want to get done. So that's sweater number 11 light. Another fun fact about the yarn for the sweater number 11 light is the Sorella yarn is actually a gift from my husband. He purchased it for me sometime, I want to say in 2022, like spring, I'm guessing. It must have been because that's when the tonals were in stock. But he had gotten COVID and we were isolating from each other because I still had to go to work. Basically, we went to a wedding and he got COVID and my mom got COVID, but I did not. And so my mom and I, we worked together, we run a business together, and I was the one, so she was sick in her house, my husband was sick in our house, and I was just like taking care of him at home, and then I was also taking care of business because I didn't have it. I was testing negative every single day, so I was taking care of all the work stuff. So it was like a tough time because I was handling all the work stuff with my mom and I was handling all the home stuff with him. So he was like, as a thank you, he bought the yarn for me, and I'm really excited to finally be using it. And yeah, he's enjoyed seeing it too because he's like, oh, I forgot about that yarn. I was like, yeah, me too, a little bit, because it's just been sitting in my stash for such a long time. So I'm really glad to actually be utilizing it in this project. Yes. Okay. Next, in my Blue Rabbit House project bag, this is a recent acquisition. This is my first project bag from her, and it's so cute. I love the design on it. I think I can see myself getting more project bags from her at some point, and I added on the leather strap as well. But my next project is the Calm Down Cardigan by Lily Kate Makes. This is part of a Calm Down Cal that I'm doing with the Seattle, they're Pacific Knit West, and they're knitting this cardigan along with us, Bay Area group. It's like me, Sharon, Serena, Jack, as well as another friend of ours, Harmony. So we're all doing this knit along together. It looks a little crazy right now, but basically I've finished one panel. So the way that this is done is like a saddle shoulder construction. I've knit one saddle shoulder for myself, and that was a pullover. This is my first saddle shoulder cardigan, but basically you knit the left front, or no, you knit the saddle, then you knit like the left front, and then now I've started doing the back panel. And I think I have like a mile of stockinette on the back panel, and then I'm gonna do the right front. So I have like a ways to go on this, but I'm using woolly knit. I'll pull out the cone really quick. I'm using woolly knit, British wool, in the shade Cherry Red, and I'm holding it double. So I have two cones in my bag here. And I am really enjoying holding cones double. Like, honestly, I think that it is a much more enjoyable experience than knitting single from the cone. I think just because like when you hold a cone single, you're kind of like more prone to feeling like the spinning oils and things like that, versus holding a double, it's like a little bit faster going as well. This cardigan is a yarn eater, which is why I have 2 cones going for it. I believe my size, which I am knitting the size 5, I really wanted an oversized fit on this one, and I think that'll give me about 8 or 9 inches of ease as well. So this cardigan, I think, uses maybe 16 or 1700 yards of DK weight in my size, maybe more. Let's see. Okay, so the size 5 uses 1780 meters, which is 1921 yards. So holding 2 cones together is actually a really great idea for this pattern, because I think each cone has about like 2,500 yards in it. So it really is like the best bang for my buck to use cones for this project. The knit along started with us on October 31st, because that's when we had our cast on party. I got to meet all the Seattle knitters who were able to join the group chat, FaceTime. It's not even a FaceTime. What did we do? It's like a Google Hangout. And we got to hang out, we got to chat, we got to talk about, you know, the pattern, we got to like actually meet each other. It was the first time we all got to talk face to face, at least as a group. I think Sharon has met some of them, but I have not actually met any of them other than chatting on Instagram every now and then. So it's been really nice. I got to meet Sylvan and Katie and Ariel, as well as Megan. Ariel and Megan have lovely podcasts as well, and I watch them religiously. So it was just such a nice time to actually get to meet everyone. And it was fun because we got to talk about the pattern as we were working through it. And yeah, it was just like the vibes were good. I could definitely do more FaceTimes in the future with all of them. And I think it'll be really fun. And it's always fun just to like knit patterns with other people. I think it's just a easy way to kind of like get motivated on something, and at the end of it you have a matching object and you can take photos and it'll just be really sweet. I think amongst everyone knitting, we all have a different color of the rainbow. So it'll be fun if we all end up meeting at Flock, that we can have like a rainbow of calm down cardigans, and it'll be fun. So yeah, that is that pattern. It's really well written. I will say, like, this is my first Lily Kate pattern. It's really well written. It's pretty intuitive and easy. And the best part is I can always ask the rest of the group questions if I have any while I'm doing it. So yeah, that is the Calm Down Cardigan by Lily Kate Makes. Yeah, you'll be seeing that more and more throughout the next couple of weeks. There is no end date. I think it's like 2 or 3 months, because I asked for a long deadline because I need a lot of time to knit it because of all the life changes that are going on for me. But I think like everyone is probably pretty relaxed with like finishing it, because we're all not going to really meet each other until next fall. So I don't really think there's like a huge deadline other than the self-imposed one that we all want to get it done and have our matching knits. So yeah. So finally I have started my gift knitting train, and I've decided I'm gonna just try to get a little bit done on some gift knits whenever I can. So I decided to cast on a Musselburgh hat. The Musselburgh is a pattern by Ysolda Teague. It is well loved by knitters everywhere. This is my second Musselburgh hat, and I have knit quite a lot on it. So this yarn is my repurposed yarn from Dear Bjorn Socks. I am using Kremke Soul Wool Lazy Linen in the shade green. This yarn was picked out by my sister-in-law when I visited her in Prague, and I decided, originally I was going to make socks with it, but the socks just were not working out as far as like fit was going and toe up, and it was just like too much for me. And she wasn't there to try it on, so I was like, let's pivot, let me do a hat instead. So I'm knitting the adult small size. I have done about like 10 or 11 inches, and I have like, I'm holding the yarn double for it, so I have this much left. I believe it's like a little bit more than 20 grams remaining, so I'm gonna keep knitting until I hit 12 grams, but my scale broke. So I ordered a new scale from Amazon, and I'm just waiting to get the scale so that I can measure how much yarn I have left, because I would hate to play yarn chicken for this one. I would like this to be an all-in-one color Musselburgh. Like, yes, it's a reversible hat, so I can do whatever I want, but it would be nice if this were like kind of all one color for her, since it's a gift knit. But I do have linen quill I could use, and I also have some other green yarn I can just kind of pull, and then that would just mean that that side that is like a little scrappier is on the inside, and that this side would be the outside facing side. So it is possible. I just would prefer it to be all one color if I could. And this has been zooming because, one, it's like worsted weight basically, and two, it's like my only stockinette only project where it's like stockinette in the round. So I think I'll probably end up casting on another Musselburgh hat when this is done, just because it's been my to-go project and it's been what I've been taking to work with me. And it's been really easy to kind of have something on a little bit of a chunkier needle. I think this is like 4.5 or 5 millimeters. So that's like the biggest needle I have going at the moment. So yeah, Musselburghs are great. Would probably always have one on the go if I could. I mean, I definitely could. I have more than enough yarn to just always have a Musselburgh hat or always have vanilla socks on the go. But I just like, I love my sweater knitting. So yeah, that's basically everything that is a work in progress at the moment. I think my next couple goals for like the next time I get to sit down and film, finish my Stria cardigan, finish this Musselburgh hat so that it's ready for Christmas gifts. And then I would like to finish like one yoke of one of the sweaters. So I have 3. So I have my Calm Down cardigan, sweater number 11, and the Slightly Sassy V. I think if I can get one yoke done, I'll be happy. Whether it's Calm Down, I mean, like, it'd be nice to just have something in the round. So maybe I should focus a little bit more on my Slightly Sassy. And it'd be nice to just like have that ready to go in the round so that I can just kind of take it as my to-go project whenever I need to go somewhere and do things. Because once it's in the round, it's just like stockinette for like however long. And then I have the sleeves and then bind offs. So that one I can see it getting done pretty soon, as long as I can get it going into the round soon. Then I would also like to cast on one more gift knit. After I finish the Musselburgh, I have 3 more gift knits I'd like to get done before Christmas, ideally. We'll see how likely that is. There's no like real need for me to do this for Christmas this year. I don't think anyone is expecting me to by any means, but I personally would like to get these done for these knit-worthy people. 2 of those 3 gift knits are for my friend's now toddler, and I have not knit that toddler anything yet, and I really would like to. And since it's like a kid's knit, I think I can get it done pretty quickly. And then one project is like a 1 skein project, and I don't have to get it done by Christmas. I could get it done next year, but I think it would just be nice to have it done sooner rather than later. So yeah, I think I'll try to finish this Musselburgh for my sister-in-law and then cast on a hat for the toddler and then just go from there. That's it for my whips. I have a couple of small acquisitions. These are things that I purchased and just finally came to me. I've mentioned this before, but my friends and I, we tend to put in orders on things together. And so this Nutiden order Sharon put in for me, and then I just picked it up from her at my baby shower. So one is I got some plates of Trapp. This is from the most recent recent. This is from the most recent Nutiden update. And this Trapp is like a steel gray. They had 3 grays in the most recent update. There's a lighter one. This is the medium color. And then I also got some Amanita. Amanita is like the beautiful red, like tomato cherry red color. This is a little bit darker than the cherry red that I'm using for my Calm Down cardigan, but it's so, so, so stunning. And I've never seen a color like this from Nutiden. So I'm excited to use it eventually. I'm feeling the itch to have another unspun project soon. So I think like in the new year, I'm planning to cast on a Miles shirt jacket, and that is using some, it's not Nutiden, it's using Musselburgh, but I do want to cast that on and have that in my wardrobe sooner rather than later. So that'll probably be like in the new year, a planned cast on at that point. And then I need to get up and grab it. I love supporting my local yarn store, and one of the things that I bought from them recently, it's my first sweater quantity that I bought from my local yarn store. Definitely not my last because there's quite a few things that she's brought in recently that I'm like, oh, I want that badly. But this is Noro Madara, and I've been seeing this all over the podcast lately. And I'm not going to say I was influenced because I had been eyeing this for like so long. But this is Noro Madara, and I think it's shade number 1 or sake. So it's like the bare color with like all the flecks of funfetti, I want to say, throughout. And the blend of yarn in this one is 60% wool, 30% silk, 10% alpaca. To the touch, it doesn't feel that soft, but I think it will soften up quite a lot with blocking. And I think it's a worsted weight. It's 100 grams for 200 meters. And I believe I'm going to make an Ysolda field day cardigan for this one. It's either the field day jacket or the field day cardigan. I'm not sure. But I have enough for one of those patterns. I truly feel to my core that next year is my year of cardigans and jackets. I have like 7 or 8 pullovers, and I only have 1 cardigan that I've knit, and my cardigan is my most worn object so far. So I believe that going into the new year, I'm going to be making a lot more of the cardigans. Even though knitting flat can be a pain, I think that they have the most, like cardigans have the most versatility in my wardrobe. So I think I'm going to do a cardigan next. And this might be one of the ones that I do sooner rather than later because the thicker yarn weight really does make it a faster knitting process. So this, along with the Musselburgh, I really do believe I'll work on them sooner. So that is another acquisition of mine. I think I have enough yarn for extending the body as well. But I know that she has a couple more skeins in the store. And for whatever reason, Noro does not move that fast in her store. So I'm like, great, I think that might be why I want to work on it sooner, is because I want to like know if I have enough. So if I don't, I can just grab the rest of it. There aren't really dye lots with this yarn either, so I feel like I'll be fine. I can find it somewhere else, or I can find someone else who has scraps and just purchase scraps off of them if I need more. But I would like to have enough, you know? So yeah, that is the Noro Madara. I have a couple more acquisitions here and there, but I don't want to dig through. I just organized my yarn neatly recently, so I don't really want to dig through all my stash and just pull it out just to show you right now. So that's it for now. I'll get to the others when I'm like closer to casting on. But yeah, that's basically it for all the knitting content today. I hope you enjoyed it. I feel like I'm a little bit out of it today. I'm still like recovering from my sickness. And I think the closer I get to the end of the pregnancy, the more tired I get and the more scatterbrained I feel and just like generally all over the place. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I will talk a little bit more about life now. So if you're not interested in that, like, this is me signing off for you. But I'm going to go ahead and just do my life update, my pregnancy update, and yeah. So I am 36 weeks pregnant. That means I am basically full term. I think 37 weeks you're full term. So like 36, 37, it's like 9 months basically. I had a doctor's appointment earlier this week, and my doctor said, you know, at this point, if you were to go into spontaneous labor, we would not stop. So I think that basically means like at this point on, the baby can come at any point, which is crazy. Like, it's crazy to me that like at this point on, I could just like have a baby in my hands. I am under the impression I'm going to go to full term because it's my first child, it's my first pregnancy, and I just assume that I'm going to go all the way to 40 weeks. So if that's the case, that's great. And if not, like if I go over, if I go under, it's like whenever baby comes is the right time. So yeah, I'm in my nesting phase. And for me, nesting looks like laying on the couch all day with my legs up. I've been swollen. My legs are swollen. My hands are like sore. My fingertips tend to get a little bit tingly. I can knit, but like if I hold the needles for too long, my fingertips get really tingly and I just feel like I should stop. So I've been noticing that my knitting speed and my output has been going down a little bit. That's okay. Like, it is a bummer because like I do enjoy knitting a lot, but I would rather not have like lasting damage on my extremities. I'd rather just kind of like take it easy and listen to my body. So that's basically where it's at with the pregnancy. The baby is developing great. I have been sleeping, but it's not been great. It's been, I'll sleep for a couple hours and then you wake up in the middle of the night and you got to go to the bathroom and do all the things. So I'm looking forward to this part being kind of done. I know at the end of it, the best reward is yet to come, where I get to meet my child that I've been like getting to know, but not really knowing yet. So I'm excited to meet him. I'm excited to see how it goes. And just I'm excited to be done as well. I'm excited to kind of have my body back and to not feel pain. As I've mentioned in like previous episodes, there's like a lot of things about pregnancy people don't tell you about. And I think like the growing pains of like my pelvis growing and like having lower back pain and having acid reflux, like all of those things, like I don't think anyone really talked about it. And now that I'm going through it, I'm reaching out to my friends who have been pregnant and I'm like, hey, did you guys go through this? And they'd be like, yeah. I'm like, why didn't no one tell me these things? I think it's because sometimes people just forget, and that's fair. But these are like very real things that like women go through, and it just makes me respect like anyone who has gone through a pregnancy before. It makes me respect them so much more because I'm just like, you are all so strong, so amazing. I can't believe like billions of people have gone through this and done this. So it's like knowing that so many people have done it, like I can do it too, but it's just, it can be tiring and it can be hard. And I don't say this to like scare anyone, but it's just like, if I had known all of these things, like would it have changed the outcome for me? No, like I absolutely 100% would do all of this again because for me, like having a child has been like one of the great like dreams and goals of my life. And I'm excited to do that with my partner and do it with someone who I love and care about so much. So I'm excited, but at the same time, it's like the body discomfort is something that's very real and difficult at times. So I am excited for this part of pregnancy to be done. And it could happen any day now. So what does that mean for my channel? Well, I do have videos and content planned, but I do not like batch film. I film like when I feel like it, and then I try to like stick to a schedule. So if all things go well, I'll have like 2 or 3 more videos before I deliver. Maybe, so I would like to do a sweater roundup video, or like everything I knit this year, a Stria video, assuming I can get that done in the next week or 2, and 1 more final podcast episode. But I'm gonna give myself some grace in these next couple of weeks because, as I said, life is gonna look really different for me in the next couple of weeks, and I don't want to push myself and do anything I'm not like ready to do. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave it for today. If you've been watching this long, if you've been watching the video, just go ahead and leave a comment. Tell me what you were working on. And yeah, just I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your November. I hope you enjoy the changing of the seasons. I know I definitely have been. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.